Yeah, I mean, we're live right now. Hey, everybody, we're live, but
sorry,
we have
guys.
so many technical difficulties that we gotta fix them.
Zoom is in trouble with me right now.
Zoom, they're
Zoom
trying to
is
keep
in
us down,
big trouble.
but we won't be stopped.
Maybe Zoom and the FAA have a special
They
thing.
could have a special thing. So hold on, I need that because I made an Instagram story and then now that link is wrong. So hold on, you guys are gonna get to see this happen live, and you're gonna get to see how many takes it takes me to do one of these stupid things because I always maybe I'll get it first try. Here we go. Oh wait, hold on, let me pull up the. Hey guys, I am live on Quad Chat with Kat and Jake. So swipe up to come hang out, ask questions, whatever. Hope to see you there. All right. Pretty much first try. Took me like 4 last time, but y'all didn't get to see that.
Better.
Yeah. Well, I practice. So now I can do that and delete the first one. You guys.
We're so sorry, guys. I even talked to Zoom support today to make sure this would have worked, and I don't know, support let me down.
And it's still messed up?
Yeah, no, that's why support let me down.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Oh, see,
but we are finally live.
Zoom failed for the drone you guys when they were trying to talk FAA also. So maybe FAA is blacklisted on Zoom now.
It
Conspiracy
could be.
hat, why not?
It could be. Oh man, my Instagram story didn't work. This is not riveting content. I guess the Instagram link just isn't going to work. This is not entertaining for everyone that's here. And we had like 50 people in the original thing.
They're coming back. Don't you worry. It's easy to click a link. Yeah, we're back to 38.
Nice.
We'll share it around.
It's how we weed out the trolls.
The real faithful people will come again.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Did you post in Rotor Riot, Jake?
I have been trying to even get to it, to be honest with you.
I posted.
Oh, okay. No,
I even mark it as an announcement. I try not to use the announcements in the Facebook group for anything that's like just myself. Like I try to only post things that are like for Rotor Riot.
Chad is on our side and he's doing it for us.
Nice.
What a good
Thanks,
helper.
Chad. Thank you.
Less technical difficulties, more talking.
Anyway, all right, well, let's get into it.
Everyone knows who you are, so I'm going to skip the whole introduction thing. And
Hi,
I'm going to lead us with a very special question I actually decided yesterday, I think it was, or was it the day before? I think it was yesterday this came up. Drew, how do you feel about koalas?
Oh my God. No, it is awful what's happening. It is. Yeah. No. So this came up because in Bardwell's live stream, like in the middle of like a relatively lighthearted live stream, we started talking about all the horrible stuff happening in Australia. And Bardwell's just like, oh yeah, by the way, koalas are just extinct now. And I was just like, what? And kind of laughed and just immediately I was like, and everyone's going to hate me.
It was a nervous laugh. It wasn't the same as like...
No, it is. I really didn't realize how bad that kind of puts it in perspective that an entire species is probably extinct.
They're not, they're on the verge. Like they're definitely
Well, no, it's going to be. Well, because even like all the eucalyptus is gone. So what are they going to eat? I mean, like it's pretty bad. Like Ashley, my girlfriend has a bunch of friends in Australia and I've been like, asking her like, what's the demeanor like over there? Like, is it like when there's a tragedy and everyone's like, yeah, it sucks, but I'm carrying on with my life? Or is it really like the whole country is like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it's kind of like right in the middle. Like people still have to go to work, but like people are like, dude, the whole continent is just like, what are we going to do? Like, it's scary. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, so that hopefully clears it up for some people that you do not have an issue with koalas.
No. They're adorable. I lived in Australia for like half a year. I thought they were so cute.
Aww.
I do want to get something off my chest, and I've been meaning to get it off my chest. Dude, it's so pleasant to finally meet you. I've been wanting to meet you since I first saw you on Rotor Riot.
I guess we haven't met. We've talked a few times, so I feel like I know you, but it's good to meet you too, I guess. You know what I mean? So
sorry. That was my geeky fanboy
Your geeky
side.
moment. Yeah, I would say that's a fanboy moment if I've ever seen one.
Right?
I mean, it's lucky it's online and not in person. It might have been worse.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to meet in person sometime, I'm sure.
We need to start talking FAA because unfortunately we're running about 10 or so minutes late into our stream here. And I know that's what people really came for. No, 2 minutes are always our setup. We're fine.
Okay.
So we wanted to highlight a few questions that were brought up online, and then we'll let everyone in the chat kind of bring you their questions. So what does Rotor Riot gain from the merger with Red Cat?
From the merger with Red Cat, we gained the support of a larger company. So Rotor Riot is like super aspirational. There's so many things that we wanted. The core of it itself, to have a show revolving around this specific niche hobby is already just super aspirational. And then beyond that, we want to have an online store. We want to do pre-built quads. We want to do events. We want to do educational events. We want to do festivals. We want to do all these things. And it's a long plan. It takes a much longer term investment than most people could personally fund. So with the support of a larger company, we can take on a lot more of those initiatives that we tried to fund out of Chad's pockets in 2018. And as some people know, if they've been following, got us into trouble. We really overextended ourselves. And, when you're funding a company out of personal equity, it really slows down how much you can do. But we didn't let that slow us down. So anyways, what this means is that we can start doing more of those things. We can bring Quad Camp back. We could do Rampage. We could fund all these crazy different projects that we want to do and grow faster.
So it's through the funding, right?
Yeah, it's money is what I was going to say too, right?
Well, and the people. So we've been vetting each other, right? So Jeff Thompson, the CEO of Red Cat, has been vetting us for a year, and we've been vetting him. And we love the guy. He gets a lot of what the FPV culture is because of his background as a professional skateboarder and because of his history starting a company, multiple companies, but specifically what I think is the most related is the internet service provider company he started. And the parallels between both those different things, you kind of find a lot of those parallels in FPV. Which I think makes sense because FPV is like this performance-based sport, but there's also a lot of like technical aspects of it. So, as far as like how we want to be, have the best pilots and sponsor pilots and make pilots famous and build a whole character and a brand around these pilots, and then have all those pilots brands contribute to the larger brand of Rotor Riot. I mean, it very much mirrors how skateboarding works, right? Where there's the famous skateboarders and then they're all on a team together. I hope that we could have competing teams someday, right? Because right now,
what about like the team? Are you guys all staying on, or like, does this guy even fly that you just partnered with? Like, where does everyone kind of stand?
Yeah. Well, yes, he flies. No offense, Jeff, but he's not that good. But he can fly. He can fly acro mode FPV. But I'm just being blunt.
No, at least he's trying.
No, I mean, he, like everyone that does FPV, just saw this stuff online and started building drones. But, as how he wanted to build a business around drones was so much further than what most people do, start up an FPV shop or whatever, right? So, but yeah, he's into drones. He's an enthusiast. And I think, again, it's because of that skateboard background.
Sorry, I go quick with the questions because
it's okay. I ramble.
It's a time thing, so I'm like, I'm just going to keep going.
Shut up, Drew.
Actually,
but the Butcher FPV says, isn't that why you did the deal with RDQ, or did Rotor Riot spend all that money already?
Well, no, the reason we did the yes and no, we, the race day quads deal was meant specifically to be around the store. And that's what happened. So
it was
we merged,
kind of for like inventory and stuff, right?
Yeah. So Tyler bought into Rotor Riot, and the intention was that he would just work on the retail, and that he wasn't really going to pour extra funds into new projects. Anything that we wanted to use to expand it into new projects was going to have to come out of our take from the store. So it didn't really provide additional funding. It just fixed one of the broken things. So it was just focused on the store.
So how is this going to affect RDQ then?
So Tyler was buying in over time. Mm-hmm. So Tyler technically never owned 50%. He was buying in over time. But as things developed, there were things that we wanted to do with the store. He wanted to have more total control. There were differences in agreement on how some of the things should flow and work together. And so we eventually decided to go our separate ways. Tyler stopped buying in and walked away with 10% of the company. And we launched our own store operation. So now Red Cat coming in, they're purchasing the entire Rotor Riot ownership, and the prior owners of Rotor Riot will have shares in Red Cat. So
Tyler's getting something out of it too.
What's that?
Tyler's getting out like a benefit to this then too.
Yeah, he'll have shares in a public company that then he can over time sell on the public market. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So okay, Jake, you go. Sorry.
So here's the big question.
And by the way, my hope is that Tyler wins, because I want to see him. I want the story to be that Tyler invested in Rotor Riot and got to
came out on top.
Multiply that investment.
Perfect.
Right. That's a much better story than Tyler losing. Right. I mean, it just makes everyone. It's a better win for everyone. You want to see that you bought a house and you painted the walls and put some new laminate flooring in and then increased the value of that house. Right. And that's what Tyler did. He came in and, I mean, us even launching our own store, we wouldn't have been able to do it without the experience and kind of guidance. He's still, been involved along the way and has provided a lot of help in us launching our own operation. We still talk to him on a weekly basis.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What was your initial thoughts of the new FAA proposals?
Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, I don't care. It's not a kid's show. It's family friendly, but families can moderate their children's ears.
The first time I read it, I was like, I didn't understand it because I was like, there's no way I'm reading this right. And so I messaged Dave Messina, who's the president of FPV Freedom Coalition. I was like, what's going on here? Bottom line is once I finally realized, no, it's as bad as it sounded. It sucks. And the more
you guys don't support it at all whatsoever.
No, the more I read it, well, now I pretty much have my head totally wrapped around it, but it was just like, it just kept getting worse and worse the more I read it. I mean, the first time I read it, I at least walked away being like, okay, we at least got the thing where we can go on our phone like I do today, because I currently use map apps like AirMap to say, here, I'm flying here, and I get my permission to fly in controlled airspace, and it's no big deal. So at least I was like, all right, at least we get that. It's annoying, but whatever. But no, it's not really that simple, because even in the app-based plan, your drone still needs to talk to your phone and still be transmitting its location. So it still affects the drone. So it's awful. And then you go and you think, oh, there's this exception for amateur built. Well, no, the amateur built ones can only be flown in an intentionally decreasing number of approved flying sites. It's like, it's literally planned obsolescence. I just kept reading thinking like, there has to be something that lets us keep going. And there's just nothing. I mean, I called my mom today and she's like, how's things going? I said, well, there's this FAA proposal. And she's like, so does that just kind of shut down your business? Because I mean, we can't, to even sell drones, you have to be an authorized drone manufacturer. I mean, that's going to just be
a shit show. It's just going to come down to who has the most
small
money to
companies
throw at
like
them.
us are not going to be able to become authorized drone manufacturers. If the proposal goes through as is, we might have to just shut down the store. I don't know. I don't want to say that. I want to believe that, we'll find a way to, make it work. But as is now, I'm like, I don't know how we stay in business. A good thing.
So what you're saying is there's zero benefit for you. Like there's zero benefit.
There's no
to Rotor
benefit
Riot
for any
happens.
FPV company. I mean, it's really scary what's going to happen. So like Get FPV, Lumineer, you know, they have government and commercial contracts. And if FPV went away, you know, I know that like Tim Nilsson loves FPV and the culture there loves FPV. They'll all be horribly sad, but business will go on. They'll just have to shift their business. They'll be fine. Puroflip, race day quads, I don't know what they're gonna do. We have Red Cat to help us, but I don't know what that, like, I don't know what's gonna happen to FPV in businesses in America. Like, it's kind of done because there's no reason for people to enjoy building quads if it's so limited where they can fly them. It just wipes out, you know, all the STEM, the class. I mean, I've gone to schools and like there's these summer camps that do drone building and stuff. And I like to go to those and, you know, meet the kids and do that stuff. And that's
going to disintegrate that entirely, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just
507 RC said, if you could get the media to start saying the FAA is blocking families from enjoying model aircrafts in the park instead of tracking drones, they might actually be able to get more traction with the public.
Yes. So, you know, as far as what can we do right now, the immediate thing is the commenting, but we want to figure out how to go beyond that. You know, I'd like to lend my support to protests that I know are being organized. I don't want to spill the beans on who's organizing it and whatnot. But I'll lend my support to that because, yeah, I want us to get some mainstream media attention on this. I don't I don't know how much people are going to care, but hopefully it'll help a little bit. Yeah.
I think just there's that big bad stigma about quads, right? And, oh, we fly over your backyard and spy on you in a window. And anyone that's approached us in public that we've let them use the goggles and watch one of us fly, they're all like, wow, that's all you see? And they realize more. And I think it's just public education will help combat this. But is it also, do you think, a political strategy maybe to look like they're doing something about a problem that the perception is thereof?
I don't know.
What problem?
I don't want to believe in like conspiracy theories or backhanded ways of handling things, but part of me thinks that the FAA proposed this in the way it did just to go so far that then they can bring it back and win favor with us. And that initial pushing far, you know, that'll be covered on the news to calm people down so that they get the best of both worlds. There'll be all this coverage about how drones are finally getting settled down. You can't be flown anywhere. They all have to be tracked. And then even as it shakes out to be less than that, everyone's going to think they're all tracked and they win with us by easing up after they see us freak out. I don't know.
What's that going to do privacy wise though, too? You know what I mean?
For the drone pilots, there just is no real privacy. None. But I don't care about that one. I know this isn't a popular opinion, but I'm wearing a watch. I've got a phone in my pocket. I literally videotape my life and post it to the internet. Privacy is an illusion. It just, it's whatever.
Hadley and I were talking one day, and my 13-year-old, he flies FPV with me all the time. And if he goes out to a park with the family or whatnot, and I'm not there, and he's got to broadcast his actual location, that makes me feel a little uneasy.
Well, he can't actually, as of now, he's not allowed to be flying under the age of 18.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's 16. It's under 16 to fly alone and like 18 to do 107. And if you're doing FPV, you need to have
he doesn't do any.
Yeah, so I guess you're right. But I wonder, I think there might be an age provision in there. You might need to just be 18 all around to fly at FRIAs, you know, so yeah, he wouldn't be.
Let's get into really FRIAs.
Yeah.
How do you feel about these proposed FRIAs?
No, it's a joke. That's what I was saying. I mean, it's planned obsolescence. I mean, it seemed like a joke. Like I thought it was a joke.
Let's go fly around in a circle.
That they literally say after 24 months after 12 months after the proposal goes into effect, that's your window to get these places approved, and then no more will ever be approved. So it's like saying, you know, here's your spots, and then as things change and they have to be shut down for whatever reason, they're just going to disappear. It's spelling out an end to being able to fly. I mean, the only place that you could say that'll be a holdout forever is like maybe the AMA headquarters, and that will be the one FRIA that lasts forever.
Well, they'll have no funding because no one will be flying. So how are they?
There you go. And then they shut down and get sold to become farmland.
Right?
So
even now, people are dropping memberships with them. So when they lose funding, then how do they pay for all this? But I mean, even like I'm Canadian. A lot of the people in the chat are Canadian. It still matters to us because if it passes in the US, they tend to pick things up and go, oh, that's brilliant. Let's do it here. So It's not just an American problem. This is a problem that will possibly standardize the rules for all countries.
So I wish this was further along. We are trying, but here we are at the live stream, and I wish I had for news that was further along. So, like I mentioned, we want to find what's the area we're going to focus on. I'm not organizing protests, but I plan to support several of them. But the one thing I want to dedicate myself to is this bill that is in Congress. It's in Congress. And it was brought up by Senator Mike Lee as recently as this past October. This bill was brought to my attention by James Pellegrini, Scarecrow FPV. So shout out to him because I'm really excited about this thing. It's called the Drone Integration and Zoning Act, and we've been poring over it, trying to understand it, and now trying to get a hold of Senator Lee. We've been calling, I think, between me, Chad, and Jeff Thompson, we've called him like 9 times. There's a little bit of a conflict going on in Iran, so I understand why he might not have gotten back to us yet. But we're trying to get a hold of him.
Dude out of Utah, right?
He is out of Utah. So this law would give ownership of the airspace from 0 to 200 feet to the property owner that the airspace is below. And in my opinion, that's how it should work. It is bonkers that I can have a quad in my hand, no problem. Plug it in, no problem. Put it on the ground, no problem. Spin the props, no problem. It goes 1 centimeter off the ground, and at that point, it becomes a federal concern in my backyard. That is, it makes no sense. I almost think that the FAA in a weird way has done us a favor by reaching so far, because had they come out with something that let us keep going, I think out of laziness, we would have just like accepted it. Like if we could have done the phone thing, I would have been like, yeah, that's an inconvenience and an invasion of privacy, but such is life. And here we go. But they went so far that I'm like, whoa, what can we do about this? And we're looking and we're digging and we're active. And there was this bill that no one knew about in October. And I want to make a big deal out of this. And so we're trying.
So you're essentially talking about air rights, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what, so it's funny because I went to Chad yesterday and I was like, is this a thing in America? And I don't care. This is me showing whatever. I watched Burlesque, which the movie, the whole premise is about their club going away, blah, blah, blah. And they're buying air rights. And that's how they were able to get the money to sustain their facilities. So if that's a thing, like, why don't we all just do it? Or why can't we buy our own airspaces at our own properties and then even have fields that we can rent out and save the spaces long term?
Right. So I'm seeing comments already. So people saying, so can't wait for Florida to say no to drones in this airspace. It's giving this federal law would give the rights of the airspace to the property owner. So your backyard is yours. If you own a parking lot, that's yours. The state can't tell you what you can do with your parking lot or your backyard. All they could do is say that you can't fly in this
so in essence,
owned or state-owned park.
So in essence, you could ask for permission, right?
Or just not get kicked out.
Right? Fair.
So I mean, as long as no one said I can't be flying in their airspace and whatever, I'm going to go to the bandos, I'm going to go to the office spaces. But like what I'm saying is the only trade-off is right now, technically, in a park that bans drones, all they can technically do is say that you can't take off from the park because the airspace is owned federally. So you could take off from your front yard, fly across the street, rip around the park, and give the cops the middle finger. If you ever try this, it's not going to go well. You're going to get a ticket anyway. So if cities want to ban drones in parks, they're doing it already. They don't need this bill. What it does is it's a trade-off, right? So even though now it technically gives cities the right to do what they're doing anyway, which is maybe ban drones in parks. It guarantees any property you own, you can fly. Any property that you haven't been kicked out of, like bandos, office spaces, whatever, you can fly. Open fields that no one's watching, no one's going to say anything to you. And it makes a lot of sense because, and Jeff Thompson taught me this because of his history in telecommunications and Wi-Fi, is that a lot of cell phone towers, a huge percentage of cell phone towers are built to 199 feet because past 200 feet, cell towers then become FAA concern and they have to have special lights on them. They triple in price. The time it takes to get approvals just goes through the roof. It's insane. So we've already got this blanket of 200-foot cell phone towers all around us as is. That's already, like, if there's a manned aircraft flying, skimming the trees, we got bigger problems. So I should be able to fly my FPV quad in the trees.
But Fishbones has a good point. That's going to limit to 200. Isn't the proposal 400? So wouldn't that be worse?
Well, the proposal, yeah, it gives you 0 to 400, but at the expense of being able to build your own drone, having to have remote ID. It ruins all these other things. It basically is saying that private and recreational pilots are going to share the same 0 to 400 airspace as commercial flights. Whereas this proposal, what I see end up happening if we could get this zoning act through, it would be that 0 to 200 feet is your business. Whether you want to say no drones allowed or you want to fly drones, that's your business. Commercial UAS flights would then probably be confined to 200 to 400 feet. And then above 400 feet, that's where you get into manned aircraft territory. And it doesn't really affect what the commercial operations want to do. Like if I wanted to have Amazon deliver a package, they can fly 400 feet above my house. And then I can give them permission to land. So then they can come down to 200 feet and that's where, and then now if they want to deliver it, I have to give them permission. Because again, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but with the proposal as written, or even kind of the way the laws are now, where all the air from 0 to up is federal concern, technically the government could fly a drone up to your window and you can't say no. As long as it doesn't touch the ground or touch your property, you can't say no. So why I think this proposal is so exciting is because we can get people excited about it that aren't just into drones. We can get the privacy phobes excited about it. The people that don't give a crap about RC, don't give a crap about drones, but I don't want that flying in my backyard. Well, hey, sir, here's how you can stop it.
Yeah.
If this goes into effect, the lowest they can be over your house is 200 feet. And yeah, 200 feet up, Amazon's going to be flying, delivering packages. But unless you give Amazon permission to land, they can't go any lower than 200 feet. And 200 to 0, we can do what we want. We can choose to fly. We can choose to outlaw drones.
Which is brilliant.
I love this proposal so much. I'm so excited about it. We're pushing, like I said, we are calling Senator Mike Lee nonstop. So we haven't been able to get a hold of him.
So
but
question
maybe
on
it's
that.
time for all y'all to start calling too.
Being that he's just in Utah, is he just standing for Utah or is he standing for everywhere though?
No, this would be a federal level bill. Yes, it would be a national law that he's proposing.
That makes sense.
And NYX is asking if the transmission of data, does it fall under the ECPA?
The what?
I think he's saying the Electronic Communications Privacy, but that you don't know tells me that you probably don't have the answer.
Well, I will say, being the fact that you have to actually subscribe and log your information willingly, that it probably does.
I'm guessing this is some act that is supposedly guarantees your privacy. I would imagine that this act says, if you opt into anything, then you've opted in. And so essentially, I think the answer would be, if you want your privacy, you don't get to fly drones. Unfortunately. But that's why we need this 0 to 200 thing.
Well, it makes sense. They do that here with like hunting, right? You can't post no hunting and then hunt the property. So they post no drones and then you can't fly a drone because you posted no drones.
Yeah.
But so far the comments, a lot of people seem to really like this concept. And
that's
I think
amazing.
if you understand it, if you understand, they did. I mean, that's the thing is we all slept at the wheel. We were not paying attention. We knew remote ID was coming. The AMA warned us. FPVFC warned us. No one thought it would be this bad. No one thought it would hit hobby drones. I kind of thought I almost hoped that remote ID would become mandatory for built store-bought drones, basically anything you didn't build yourself. But if you built it yourself, you didn't have to have remote ID. Because frankly, I wouldn't really mind remote ID for most people that go and buy a Phantom from Best Buy. They're usually the offenders. People that are building things ourselves. It's like this built-in barrier to entry that keeps it, keeps us caring enough, keeps us responsible enough. There's enough difficulty along the way that you respect the sport, and that you understand why it can be dangerous. But I mean, Joe Blow can walk into Best Buy, buy a Phantom, and fly 3 miles away right now. Honestly, that does scare me. It does. So
I know what you mean.
I wouldn't mind that. But again, with this 200-foot law, then DJI will just put a 200 barrier in, and they won't go 200 feet tall. Maybe there'd even be a line of sight thing. I don't know. There's all sorts of regulations that I would happily live with.
So Wheats actually asked a question here. How did FPV FC warn us when they they aren't pushing for this?
He's saying, aren't they pushing for it? As in,
aren't they pushing for it? Yeah. Excuse me.
They're pushing for, no, I would say the FPVFC is a little less aggressive than I would like. I would in no way say they're pushing for this, but I think they would take more regulation than I would. You know, I mean, I think they would be, if they got the phone polygon, they call it the polygon, because what you would do is like go on the phone and draw a polygon and say, I'm going to fly in this polygon and up to 100 feet and leave me, and that's considered remote identification. I think if they got that, they would call that a win and they'd be happy. I would live with it. I wouldn't be happy, but I'd live with it. I want to push hard and get like this 0 to 200 foot bill. I want, 0 to 200 feet. I want the federal government to fuck off.
Yep.
And they're not that aggressive. I brought this to them and they weren't too interested in pushing it. They want to just focus on so everyone's picking the areas of focus. FPVFC is picking to focus on improving the proposal as much as they can. That's fine. Other organizations are picking to focus on protests. Great. Can't wait to be there. I think Rotor Riot, call this as official as anything. We're picking to focus on this, make sure I'm saying it right, the Drone Integration and Zoning Act. So that's what we're going for until it becomes a dead end, and then or hopefully it doesn't, hopefully it works. But if it does become a dead end, we'll pick our next plan of attack and go for that. So
Wheats up here is talking a lot about Rotor Riot and Red Cat and all that stuff. I don't know if, like, even me, I had to elaborate on my ignorance today. What exactly is Red Cat and what are they doing?
Red Cat is a software company primarily. Mm-hmm. So the core business of Red Cat, the larger company, is to develop software with the intent of selling it to commercial drone companies. They actually already have some potential customers lined up. And it's like fleet management software done via black box logs. So for your entire drone fleet, you can either manually or automatically upload your black box logs, and their software will help you manage the fleet, manage maintenance, manage tracking it, manage tracking the health and maintenance, tracking the status of your drones, tracking the location of your drones for yourself. And then if you choose, you could then submit that information to parties that you might want to submit it to. Most commercial operations are going to have insurance. So Red Cat can help you provide information to get lower insurance rates. And
like your car.
Yeah, just like your car. So that's what Red Cat's primary thing is, and all this is public. I'm trying
to follow. The chat's moving quick, guys. It's hard to follow it really sometimes. Is. But Fishbone said the CEO of Red Cat is on the board, and he would gladly be working on the tech for commercial operations. A few people mentioned
on the tech for commercial operations.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing, I think, as much as
I mean,
when we're talking about black box, though, we're talking about PID data. We're talking about motor data.
Everything, motor temperatures, ESC speeds over time, motor temperatures,
efficiency data type stuff, right?
Anything. It's like, it's like your car. Your car has black box, by the way. You don't think that if you get in a car accident, you're,
they know when you've been braking, how you've been braking.
Your speed is right there for them to see.
Yeah, it depends on the cars. Like Toyotas are pretty unhackable, but like Subarus, you can like pretty easily look right in there and see what's going on, which is nice as a tuner because that means I can also tune my Subaru without the need for external computers. I can just log in and change the fuel map, which is awesome. But whatever.
But it's all there. It's all there in the ECU, just like what Red Cat is trying to do with, or
just like
trying
your
to
location. Unless you've turned it off, go to I forget the address, but like you can go look at your location history from Google. It's scary. I mean, we
use ours for work. Actually, it tracks me everywhere I go.
Everywhere you've been.
Yeah. Well,
I don't even think I bothered turning mine off. Again, I'm not a privacy phobe. I'm like, if they want to know where I am, I'm probably vlogging it.
People need to kind of, I think, take a step back and realize too, you have time. This is like a 2 to 3 year process. This is not happening now. You don't have to quit. You don't have to, throw in the towel. It's just time to get together and unify and fight.
Something that I like to calm everyone down with is that if the proposal goes into effect, it's 3 years till it becomes the law. Most of y'all have been flying for less than 3 years. I've been flying for 4 years. Let me round to 3. Let's say I've only been flying for 3 years. That means from now till then, I get to do everything I've done one more time. That's pretty good. There's still a lot of fun to be had, but that doesn't mean we're going to give up. It just means that don't freak out. It's not over tomorrow. You can have so much fun in the next 3 years, and we'll just keep fighting along the way.
This is every location I've been in Billings for the last, I don't know, since October.
They've got you.
Yeah, they've got you.
Everything.
Guys, if you have chat questions, please start asking them. We'll start throwing them out to Drew. He's looking at the chat also. We're going to leave anything personal kind of to when he's doing his personal interview, but this is more of a targeted talk on FAA. So if you have FAA or anything related to the proposals or the Red Cat or anything that people have been freaking out about, feel free to put those in here for Drew to bring to his attention.
I'm curious. There's been so much relation between the merger and the proposal drawn, and I really wonder if the timing had been different, if it would be the case. Like the timing was purely happenstance.
I was going to ask that actually.
No, we've been working. If you haven't, I've never taken a company public before. I've never acquired a company before. However difficult you might think it is, let me just let you know, it's way more difficult than you think. And it takes a lot of time. We announced this nearly a year ago. We thought this was going to be wrapped up in July. Then we thought it was going to be wrapped up in October. And it just finally started wrapping up, and we really pushed to have the deal signed within 2019, which we did. The deal's not closed yet. It won't close till later this month, but it takes a long time. And then the FAA blindsided us putting this proposal out
pretty close to holidays too.
Right after holidays. So dirty.
Well, and I'd like to point out too, and I pointed this out in a few pages yesterday, you guys are not the only company that's partnered with a larger company. And there are other companies already working with government, guys. This is not new.
Well, that's what I was saying.
For years. It's already
Get
exist.
FPV. Yeah, Get FPV has been owned for a while, and they already have existing commercial work. They can shift their focus.
Well, they have military contracts. If you're going to try and tell me that they're not already using these resources that they just want to make the public have to use, you're delusional. They already have the technology. So Red Cat and other companies don't need to deal with developing it if it already exists and it's going to go to the highest bidder. It's not a priority for these other companies. It just doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah, but it's always the highest bidder.
That's it. It's money talks, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've seen so many people insinuate that there's some conspiracy between DJI and the FAA, and I'm like, you think there's a conspiracy between a Chinese-owned, especially with the current presidency? You think there's a conspiracy between a Chinese company and a federal
No,
the federal
it's not going to happen
agency
now.
of the United States.
Hawaii just got blocked out. There's no way that Trump's like talking to DJI like, yeah, let's just get rid of the hobbyists because we don't need them in the sky.
Yeah.
Adam, I apologize if I butcher your last name, Bostwick, said the possibility of companies to stop pushing innovation is the absolute scary part. Do you think that would be the case if this passes?
I'm sorry. I was reading a comment. I'm so sorry. Can you repeat that question? I was reading someone else's. I'm sorry.
Adam Bostwick says the possibility of companies to stop pushing innovation is the absolute scary part. Do you think that would be the case if this law passes?
In the FPV space, maybe. I don't know. It depends how resilient and how determined people are. Thankfully, we've already seen FPV companies like Team Black Sheep say that they are working on remote ID technology. So that tells me that FPV companies are going to dive. Some FPV companies are going to dive in, deal with it. And, a company like TBS has been known for innovating so hard in the FPV space. So if they can crack it and keep doing their thing, then we'll continue to see FPV technology develop. But
Michael Rollins says, under the absolutely huge assumption that the FPV community could organize and take a stand, are we as a community even large enough to make a difference in any government regulation?
Yeah, I think so. The analogy I've been liking to think of is that just because there have been various groups accused of helping the FAA regulations or helping large commercial interests. And I'm like, okay, the large commercial interests pushing, this is such a roundabout way of answering the question. The large commercial interests like Amazon and Google pushing for these type of regulations, they're so big. Any group in the FAA and the FPV community trying to help them is like a toddler trying to help the adults move the couch. They're probably just in the way. The adults don't need your help. But if that toddler kicks and screams and makes a lot of noise, it might get the adults to put the couch in a different spot.
Yeah, they'll stop and have to pay attention.
We are small. We are small. We are insignificant. But that doesn't mean that we can't make a lot of noise and that we can't get maybe a different adult like Mike Lee to help fight our battle. So call your senator, I guess.
Well, Vamper just said Joe Biden lives up the street from him. So why haven't you started that friendship, Vamper? You could be the solution here in a few years. Who knows?
Go knock on the door.
Right? George Prince, get him flying FPV. Then you're in. But George Prince, he flies professionally, he noted earlier in the chat. And he said, elevated perception, you're correct, but companies like Amazon and UPS can absorb the cost of the data plan. The Lutiniest subscriptions, I apologize if that's wrong, but my business simply cannot. And that's the biggest thing is these people doing it professionally that are smaller scale, they're not going to be able to sustain a business either with these proposals, which really means less taxes to the government. But I guess at the end of the day, taxes from a handful versus large dollars from Amazon, it outweighs us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd hope so.
So here's a question. Would this FAA proposed rule help Red Cat?
No. Why?
Does Red Cat benefit from it at all whatsoever, I guess?
Not inherently any more than any company could.
Yeah.
So Red Cat could make products around these regulations.
That reads that data and stuff like that.
Any company could do that. There's no having a leg up on this. In fact, Red Cat's behind. There's a lot of companies actively already working on remote ID technology. Red Cat isn't one of them. That's not to say that they might not want to in the future. It goes again, like I said, Red Cat is primarily a software company, and a lot of this remote ID stuff is hardware based. To get the approvals to be an authorized drone manufacturer, to create these things that, what are they called? Transponders that can send out the data. That's all hardware problems. And Red Cat's not doing any hardware right now. So they're way behind the 8-ball. There's a lot of companies already way ahead. So there are companies that stand to benefit from this, but that's just happenstance. That's just because they saw this remote ID thing coming and they decided to get going on hardware development. Now, will or won't some of these companies' hardware meet the specifications as outlined by the FAA when the specifications are finalized? Who knows? So maybe all that work could be for nothing because they're going to say, oh, you have to work on a completely different band. I don't know. But yeah, there's nothing inherent about this that's like aimed at Red Cat or it's black box stuff.
No, that makes sense. I just kind of want to clear the air that you guys and Red Cat don't have anything to do with the FAA thing. Like a lot of people are assuming, and
I wanted to be friends with the FAA. We had a chat back in September, and we were going to maybe do an episode with the FAA about drone safety in November. And it kind of fell through because things just got so busy and I couldn't get schedules lined up and blah, blah, blah. And it just kind of slipped through the cracks. Kind of glad we didn't do this episode because the amount of people think that we're buddy with the FAA now, that would only be worse. But I was trying to be buddy with the FAA.
Well, it's always better.
But the proposal that came out is so far off what I talked about with them. I complimented them on making progress to integrate drones, privately flown drones into the airspace. It was recently that they updated the Lance low altitude something control, whatever, the Lance system. They gave that ability to be accessed to recreational users, and prior it couldn't. So they were making strides to, like, as a recreational user, I could now go down the street to this church where if I was only a recreational user prior, I wouldn't have been allowed to fly. And now I could get authorization up to 50 feet to fly. And I can go do that right now. Before I could do it under 107. So I was always able to do it. But now I could do it recreationally. So I was so impressed that they were doing that. I was like really happy with that. And then this came out and I was like, whoa, whoa. I didn't see this one coming. I thought we were going one way and you guys just went whoop.
Yeah, and I think someone had said this on Facebook yesterday, and I kind of agree. You guys have one of the larger social media presences. So of course people are going to look to you and be like, oh my God, you guys threw us under the bus and just panic, right? It's at the end of the day, everyone's panicking. I mean, George was just saying he spent his single Inspire $6,000. The proposal makes it useless for him, but not just that, he's going to go bankrupt. Like his entire life would be destroyed by this stupid proposal. DJI's apparently, so Tango Team Leader says DJI has been working with the FAA for years, and that's how they've been able to enable geofencing and other requirements requested on behalf of the FAA. A few up there, someone was also pointing out that apparently they have friends with someone who's with the FAA, and that DJI has been a big backer and on board with them for this.
On board, I think they've been at the mercy of the FAA. I think the FAA has been putting a lot of pressure on DJI. I don't think they've been on board. I think they've been doing their best not to get banned. Yeah, I mean, I think they do want to make their products safer. And like I said, that for complete green people to be able to walk into Best Buy and having never flown anything RC before, be able to fly 400 feet up, 5 miles away, that's kind of scary. So again, the proposal that I like, which would limit you to a 200-foot ceiling over property that you have permission to fly, I think that's pretty great. You know, DJI would change its built-in ceiling to 200. They'd probably build in some other geofencing things. If you want to go above 400 feet and longer range, then you're going to have to log in with your remote ID stuff, I guess, you know. I've seen AA a bunch of times saying overreach over. I think if you're wanting me to call the proposal an overreach, yes, I agree. The proposal is an overreach. I think if that's what you're wanting to get me to say, yes, the FAA proposal is a huge overreach.
Scabchew, I'm assuming might be a troll. I've already answered them, but we're going to go back a little bit to what we said at the beginning already. They want to know what Red Cat will do for the FPV community, which also ties in a little bit with another question that Jake responded to up here. I don't know if you have it marked, Jake. I'm trying to scroll back through the chat to find it.
What was the purpose of Red Cat purchasing Rotor Riot?
Okay, so the first question.
He was asking if you think that, like in his thing, he also elaborated a little more though, Jake, and said, is it like how you guys market DJI, or is it a whole different process versus that?
So the first question, what's Red Cat going to do for the FPV industry? Right now, they're helping me get in contact with Senator Mike Lee. Jeff has a lot more connections than I do. So if anyone has a shot at getting a hold of him, he does. But I mean, we can all try and call him. You can all try and call him. Call Mike Lee. Say you like this act. Why did they buy Rotor Riot? Because Chad's really good at marketing. Chad will be becoming the CMO of Red Cat, so doing marketing for Red Cat. The marketing will not take place through Rotor Riot. Rotor Riot is just going to stay Rotor Riot, like exactly what we've been doing. So no, Rotor Riot's not going to promote Red Cat unless there's an applicable reason, but I can't think of any reason to promote the Red Cat brand. Red Cat isn't really meant to be like a public facing brand.
No, they've got
so the
like
other benefits that Red Cat gets
like
from
that.
Rotor Riot are, access to pilot expertise. So we round up good pilots and put them on the show. Red Cat can now hire them. We've already curated the choice of top professional pilots that Red Cat could then hire to test things. I don't want to say specific stuff. Well, I guess we've already talked about the black box. Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah.
So, we can get the pilots could help them get black box logs that they can try to analyze and, figure out stuff and future products.
From what I understood with the black box analyzation is that right now they're kind of researching and trying to get their AI to analyze it for them and help them improve on everything, correct?
Yeah. So the idea would be that you can upload a bunch, every log, and it can find things like it could tell your fleet that hey, based on what we've seen before, this drone is like 20 flights away from a motor burning up, so pull it out. Or maybe something, this technology could be adopted for use in high performance black box logs. So I mean, they've talked about the ability to using artificial intelligence hone right in on mid throttle oscillations and then spit out new PID values for to use, or probably be more likely filter values, but new values for you to put in Betaflight. So like automated tuning or stuff like that. So it's kind of like, so the big question, why would you buy Rotor Riot, is because Jeff Thompson believes in how car companies use high performance cars and how Cadillac will use certain new technologies on formula racing cars, test it on $1 million cars that are being pushed to the limit. Then eventually it works its way to the luxury line. Then eventually it makes its way down to Chevy, right? So if they can create black box analytic algorithms that can keep up with our flight controllers running at 8 kilohertz, D-Shot 600, flipping at 1200 degrees per second and all that stuff, then they'll probably do just fine at one of these agricultural drones that just goes.
Yeah, and sprays. Just Josh had a question. He says, the FAA didn't even listen to the DAC. We need to get a group of everyone to rally behind. Who or how can we accomplish this?
So again, the FAA just ignored the DAC. And that was like what was so shocking about it. So that's why what I'm most excited about is just say, I'm done with the FAA. I'm going to go to this other bill and kick the FAA out of 0 to 200 feet. So that's what I want to do. I'm just done with them. I'm so pissed at them. I just want to kick them out. I think that's the biggest blow we can do. But how do we get them to listen? I don't know. People try to play their game and join the Drone Advisory Committee. And the president of FPV Freedom Coalition has been flying to Washington on his own dime to listen in on meetings and trying to get his foot in the door. People tried playing the game and it didn't work. They didn't care. They didn't listen. They ignored it. It was bullshit. And so my stance is I'm done with them. We're gonna just go around them. I'm gonna go to their boss. Which, I mean, that's literally what we'd be doing. We'd be, this bill would be going straight to Congress and taking some of their control away. And control I don't understand why they have in the first place.
And I'm sorry to bring up Red Cat again. We should be talking more FAA. But it is here, let me find this question again. Basically, why does Red Cat want our black box information?
I don't think they do. unless you want to pay them to take it.
Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not a compulsory thing. No, you would be, they want you to pay them to give them your black box logs so that they can store it for you and they can help analyze it for you. Yeah, I don't think I mean, I don't know. Why would they want FPV black box logs? Like I said, they would want FPV black box logs because that's the top of the line performance. So if they can make their stuff, their software, their analytics work on FPV black box logs, they're going to be able to handle an agricultural drone just fine. But they don't need your black box logs. They can have mine. Corey for his. They're not going to pay you for your black box logs. They got our logs, and we probably fly better than you.
So the Butcher says, Rotor Riot does not hire the top pilots. They hire pilots that are unique, controversial, and pilots that can hit certain demographics. They used to get top pilots to promote Rotor Riot. And I'm telling you that so you can provide your feedback in there.
Well, I think that's partially true. I think Rotor Riot, when it was founded, was all about getting elite pilots and bringing the personality out of them. And Chad did a great job at that. I think that early on, Rotor Riot definitely had a culture of elitism, and I never liked that. And I never thought that you should have to be a top pilot to be on Rotor Riot. That there's so much more to the community than just who has the best skills, and the best skills in their definition of what's good flying, right? I think all the Rotor Riot pilots at first kind of all had a similar style and kind of all had this similar definition of what made good piloting. And I think when I came on, I had a different definition of what good piloting was, and was focused on flow and variety of tricks rather than precision and consistency. To give them credit, I improved tremendously from my time flying with the Rotor Riot pilots that came before me, and they really helped me appreciate the value of precision and consistency. I hope that I was going to help them appreciate the value in diversity and inclusion. And I think maybe some of them I had that effect on, and some of them I didn't. But I absolutely set out to change Rotor Riot, and totally underestimated how hard it would be, and underestimated how much backlash there would be from certain people. And I'll just chalk that up to vanity for not appreciating it. So yeah, it was intentional. So we still have top pilots. Not all of our pilots are top pilots, no offense to them, but we bring in a diverse type of pilot. We bring in people that are knowledgeable, people that are inclusive, people that want to build community, and people that are kick-ass pilots. We have the freaking DRL champion. We have the god of flow. Tell me who's better.
I don't know.
Sorry. So,
you might need a pin to pop your big head there so you can get out of the room after this. But oh man,
we got good pilots. I don't think we have someone like Vic that can do like the super watch it. So I'd like to get someone more like that.
That's fair.
Got the king of backwards. We got the queen of 3D. We don't have good pilots. You're out of your mind.
I'm just trying to see. Yeah, Michael Rollins, I can't see your comment anymore, but he said something along the lines of the confusion with this black box being a tracker. It's not a GPS tracking your every movement and giving direct data like, hey, this is what this person's doing in this very moment in their house right now working on their quad. It's to contain data. Again, like you brought up, Drew, it's in your guys' cars already. It's an option that you can even ask your insurance for to pay less. Yeah, it's just a repetitive cycle of questions.
If you want to use like a Red Cat based service, you have to get the black box to their server somehow. So you would actually have to supply your own hardware, buy some other product that would automatically upload it if you wanted that. Red Cat isn't working on anything. So like you would have to manually manage your own fleet, download the black box from each one of them and upload it yourself, or pay for some other service, because there's other services already out there that do this that can then upload it. Or if you wanted to go straight from drone to cloud, buy some product that can do that. But Red Cat's not supplying that. You have to, it's like I can upload my photos to Dropbox manually by taking them from my phone to my computer to Dropbox, or I can download the Dropbox app onto my phone and send it straight to Dropbox. It's my choice how I want to get it there.
I agree. Yeah. I'm just flipping screens trying to see more here.
So I will say in the FPV community, nobody's really mentioned what companies are actually looking at the remote ID and developing the remote ID stuff for people in commercial drone stuff. Have you heard of Kitty Hawk?
Yeah, Kitty Hawk's working on remote ID.
That's like one of the biggest ones that stood out for me. How come nobody's mentioning any of those guys anywhere?
Because they're not familiar with, like, if you're talking about like the chatter in this community, they only know FPV related stuff, right? So they're not, unless there's been overlap. If they're mad at any company that's creating remote ID and they're not aware of Kitty Hawk, it's because they've been violating the current FAA rules, wherein you have to get permission to fly in controlled airspace and use an app like Kitty Hawk or AirMap. And AirMap's also working on remote ID. So I'm well aware that Kitty Hawk and AirMap are working on remote ID because I already use these services to comply with the existing regulations to fly in controlled airspace. So yeah, both those companies are working on it.
So what do you think we can do then against the FAA now? Like, do you think the comment process is going to help at all? Because some companies are really pushing that, oh, we need to make comments. We need to make comments. And a lot of people are saying that making a comment's not going to do anything.
I mean, to say that making comments isn't going to do anything is like that same defeatist thing is like, oh, I'm not even going to vote. It doesn't matter. So I hope that I never succumb to that belief that the process is totally bullshit. But I don't necessarily say I'm going to put a lot of faith in it. So to say that it doesn't matter if I comment, so I'm not going to, just do it. It's not going to take that long. Just do it. It can't hurt. So yeah, I think we should help, or we should do the commenting thing. How much it's going to help, I don't know. I would previously have said, yeah, you should take it seriously. But the way that the FAA just completely ignored all the recommendations of the Drone Advisory Committee, went against everything that I had talked to, my contacts there about, had like just came out of nowhere with this. I'm like, are they listening? I don't know, but do it anyway.
Or, well, they might be listening, but not to the people like us. They're listening to the ones with all the extra money, right?
Right. Which again, and I'm just going to keep banging this drum because this is the approach I'm taking, and people may be coming and going. The approach I want to take is I want to rally around Senator Mike Lee's bill. Chad's been posting his phone number in the chat, by the way, so you guys can call him too. The Drone Integration and Zoning Act. That's what I want to make my thing.
Well, and Jeff Thompson, which for you guys who don't know in the chat is the CEO of Red Cat, is in the chat right now. He says that you're wrong, and we need to comment and ask for a meeting with FAA all the time. So he's saying the squeaky wheel gets the grease, which I know what he means by that.
Thanks, Jeff, for keeping the optimism alive.
Annoyed I need that.
I mean, I'm down. I hate to admit it. Like this whole thing is like sent me into a little bit of a depression. Like I haven't posted a vlog in like 3 weeks. I'm just like been feeling so creatively challenged. Like it really just took the wind out of my sails. Like I posted a flight video yesterday and it took like all the effort in the world to like care enough to export it. Like I made Ashley watch it 3 times. I was like, it sucks, isn't it? It's not even good. Like, Drew, it's just like it's the same thing you always do. It's flippy floppies and music, export the video and upload it because you always feel better. So just do it. And so I did it and I do feel better. But I was like so depressed. So there have been people, like in this case, Jeff Thompson, reminding us to stay optimistic and keep at it. Your voice matters. So yeah, do the commenting.
Well, and I'm posting the talking points from the FPVFC in the chat too, guys, so that you can click on that if you don't know where that link is yet. And it will also on that site have the summary, I'm pretty sure. If not, I'm posting the link direct to the FPVFC, but it's really easy to Google it yourself and it will give you a summary about the proposal. Most of the UFDA shit show crew that's in the chat right now, they're all up in arms. Like they are pissed. I know that they are doing a meme war against the FAA right now and they want to do more. And I know some of them are talking about protests and all that.
What is the meme war? I mean, is that just?
I was going to ask, what is a meme war?
Yeah, they're just posting constant, like, take down the FAA meme style.
Because that's just, I'm sorry, I love you guys, UFTA, but I feel like the meme just explosion is making it hard to have real communication. I don't think it's really helping much. I don't know. Maybe I don't understand the importance of memes. If you guys want to do a protest, I'll be there. I will fly myself there. I'll help you start a GoFundMe. Whatever you guys want to do, I'm all about it. But let's do something. I don't know. Maybe I don't get the meme thing too old for you millennials.
Speaking of protests, because that's where I was going to go with this, is those protests you were talking about. How can people find out about them? And how can
they're not mine yet. Nothing's been organized yet, but I don't know. I'll let you know when I know.
You're looking for someone at least to step up and do it. And I mean, Enoch and crew, like you guys, you've got quite a large following. Like if you set up that protest, people will come. And it'll be way better than the Area 51 protests. So,
and I will say there should be like a Facebook group or something like that with the events.
Something I can post. And please, I will be lending any support I can to protests that are done. Like, we're not going to show up at the FAA's door without permits, and we're not going to fly illegal drones over the headquarters. Like, we're not going to like stupid. So get permits. Let's do it right. And you've got my full support.
I'm just reading. Mike of War says it's going to happen. He'll message you about forming some type of protest. So keep your inbox available. I know sometimes it goes into the other side and you might not see it. I'm just seeing what else.
Yeah. I think he's saying he'll call right after the stream. I'm probably going to go watch some cartoons after the stream and so maybe cartoons? Not tonight.
Are you a little stressed out, are you?
Yeah.
What cartoons?
And yeah, we said they're gonna fly kites and balloons. That was kind of.
I'm down for that. That's a great idea. Kites and balloons. Can we paint drones on them? That's an awesome idea.
That's what they were talking about. It was like having like drones, I think, on kites and having. They said having thousands of balloons with the protest logos on it. Honestly, guys, I hate the balloon idea because balloons, when they deflate, kill animals. So I'm totally against the balloon idea. But I love the kite idea because your kite can go way higher.
Let's just bring the balloons back. Well, they want to release the balloons?
I don't know if they're releasing or not. That's why I'm just.
I promise personally to keep my balloons on strings and bring them back and throw them away. Maybe. Oh man, I want a 400-foot string.
But even the kites, right? You can show them like, look, we can go further, right? And it might help. Squishy
I want
says
a balloon
the
that will
FCC
go
is
400
spineless. The FAA has ensured the safety of the NAS successfully for a long time. I don't know if you have any comments on that.
I don't have. I'm just a YouTuber getting thrust into this head first. I don't have a lot of history with the FCC or the FAA. So I mean, we're still gonna go for it. I mean, that's like saying, oh, the FAA is too tough to deal with. You're not gonna win. Well, I'm still gonna try.
Mike of War says he's already ordered them with drones on them, saying it says drones are not a crime, and they all have a spring, so awesome. No one's releasing them.
That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. I did see like, why isn't Rotor Riot taking the lead on our protests? And because we should all pick our approach. And if UFDA crew sounds like they're doing the protest thing right, I hope they're getting the permits and all that stuff. Then that's their thing, and we will support it. We'll promote it. We don't need to spend our time organizing it. We don't need to spend doing the same thing. The best thing we can do is put our voice out there. We have a really loud voice, so we'll help people know about it. So UFDA crew, here we're assigning these. UFDA crew, you're on the protest. Rotor Riot, we're on the drone zoning Drone Integration and Zoning Act with Mike Lee. We're doing that. FPVFC, you guys take on the proposal commenting. XJet, you also take on the proposal commenting. We'll hit them from every front.
Just curious, where would any of this protesting be? Like Washington, or where? I don't even know where that would be.
I think they want the FAA headquarters. Yeah, I think that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I think honestly, like as Canadians, it's not a bad idea if we organize one up here at the same time. We don't have the FAA here. We have a different thing.
Transport Canada.
Yeah, they're not even really a thing. I don't even know if they have an office.
Whoa. They're a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know you personally know that they're a
Okay.
thing because you've been ticketed by them. However, we
were not ticketed. Oh, no.
Well, okay. Sorry. I was
totally
told there was
off.
fines about bridges. So good to know you were let off. But
yeah,
it just comes down to if we all stand together, like if all these other countries start kind of making it like, hey, look, we care too. We're supporting. It's not an issue. And also just kind of remind your buddies, guys, don't blatantly go fly illegal things and post them online all proud of yourself. Not when you're trying to prove that we are a good community of law-abiding citizens who are happy to fly drones and stay out of everyone's way. We need to.
I'm all for civil disobedience.
Yes.
But there's difference between civil disobedience and reckless endangerment.
Truth.
So.
Mike,
that's a great idea. Protest shirts in the quad boxes. Why not?
There you go.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Chad says, Drew, coordinate everything.
Well, yeah, because I see even NYX is saying there's the problem, you're fragmented. I'm like, no, man, like if you want Rotor Riot to lead everything, do everything, nothing's going to get done. That's what happened with our business in 2018. Just saying. So no, we're going to divide and conquer, but we will lend support to everyone's different efforts. So UFDA, if they're doing it right, you got my full support.
That's awesome. I think that they should definitely get those protests going. And I mean, if they do, we share it and do whatever we can on our side too. And I think that's amazing. Enoch, no one's talking down to UFDA. Everyone likes you guys, so don't worry. Drew, you already know that Vamper has a question for you. He wanted to know Vamper. He wants to know what if you confirm Thick Earth or not.
Thick Earth confirmed.
There you go, guys. So it's even done there. It says Enoch has on the UFDA crew website, they have a non-profit protest tee. So nice. Enoch, please share that link. You are more than welcome to share your link here. I have no quarrels with that at all.
Oh, I think I've seen their graphics. Yeah.
You might not want to use Rotor Riot because the word riot. That's something actually I've seen a few times too, where people feel that it gives a negative stigma.
I do have one more question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know of any FPV related companies or anything that are actually supporting this? And do you know why? The FAA
what do you mean by supporting it?
Supporting the FAA rule. The bill. Or rule. Yeah.
Do you mean support like a lot? How would you support, like saying, hey, you shouldn't?
That are for it, I should say.
I don't know of any that are for it, I guess. I haven't seen any FPV companies say, hey guys, this is a good thing. Because it's pretty much going to hurt every FPV company. You might twist it to say that certain FPV companies that have said they want to work on this technology are for it, but I wouldn't take that as saying that they're for it. I would say that they're smart and they're getting ahead. So, like I said, I think TBS is working on remote ID technology now. I in no way, shape or form think TBS is now supporting remote ID. I think they're freaking smart and they're getting ready for the what hopefully is not, but may become an inevitable future.
Yeah.
Chad says that, Drew, you are the central focal point and you should help to coordinate.
Okay.
Oh,
that's how Chad gets me to do stuff.
Is that what just happened there?
Stuff. He just says I look good and do stuff. So, all right.
I'm
Fine.
Just seeing what else. Oh, good. Okay,
Actually,
Enoch sent me the link, so I'm going to pull it up.
Chronics did bring up a point. Why would an FPV company lose business? Well, I guess I kind of understand that one. Never mind. Because we won't be able to build our own drones eventually.
Yep.
It's basically.
Sorry, guys. I'm just getting the link here.
If it goes through, we're done. Eventually, we won't be able to use our own handmade drones or home-built drones. They're all going to be regulated by purchasing drones that already have it all integrated.
Yeah, like our main thing right now is building.
Either, guys.
What's the answer?
some people think like whooping and stuff is the answer, and toothpicks. Like, to me, honestly, that's not an answer. Like, yeah, they're cool.
No, that's not what I want to do.
In like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I want to fly 5-inch drones with GoPros, and that's what I'm gonna do one way or another. I mean, whooping is fine. It's fun. If you love it, great, awesome. But that's the lazy answer. To just say, oh, I'll just whoop. No, that's giving up. That's just looking at what we can get away with and continuing to do it. And we're done just doing what we can get away with. And like I said before, I think the FAA may have done us a favor, because had they given us something in this proposal that we could point to and be like, well, this is how we'll keep flying, then we would have just rolled over and just kept doing what we could get away with. And now I'm saying it's not enough anymore. We're taking back the skies.
I like that, taking back the skies.
Yeah.
If you guys have questions, post them. We're going to be wrapping up probably sooner than later. So make sure you post the questions that you guys have. So what do you think now is like your long-term Rotor Riot plan? Like, what's happening now on your guys' side? Other than organizing protests, apparently.
with the company, like, or with this? Yeah, I mean, this whole thing, this FAA proposal is new, and I'm going to be putting a lot of my effort into whatever I can with it. So that's going to be a focal point. If none of this and we're still going to do the other stuff. So the other fun stuff is we want to expand the store. We want to, help bring the lead time down on our pre-built drones, which have been flying off the shelves. I didn't even mean that one.
No, that's okay. Let it fly.
We want to, and that's, we've really focused our store on the pre-built drones because it helps a lot of people just buy it and fly it. And then we have all the support of the build video. Like I tell everyone, if you buy the drone, you should still watch the build video so you know how to fix it. And just help more people get into it. So, I'd like to, do more events that can bring people together, bring newcomers in and get them exposed to this stuff. And I think the real long-term thing, what's the end game for Rotor Riot is, I want Rotor Riot to take it mainstream. I want Rotor Riot logos in Hot Topic. I'm wearing Vans right now, right? And I used to skateboard, but there's a lot of people that don't even skateboard that wear Vans. And it's because skateboarding is cool, and they wear skateboard brands even if they don't skate. So I'm like, how do we get people to wear Rotor Riot even if they don't drone? How do we get that audience that, they don't necessarily skate or fly themselves, but they like following it along. They care about the characters. They care about the sport. They like watching the videos. So that's the current goal with Rotor Riot. And so all this stuff is just working towards that, having quads that people can buy and get in the air quickly. We support it. Welcome newcomers with events, make events that are broadly appealing. So a ton of fun people that already fly, but you can bring the whole family, bring your friends, or hopefully just walking off the street and still think it's fun. And just keep making kick-ass content. Anytime we break 100,000 views, I'm like, we're doing it. We're doing it.
Hoop says DOT will regulate RC trucks and with transponders next. FAA is overstepping. No ifs, ands, or buts. I think you agree with that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he's just
the
saying
overstepping,
that it's
the overreach,
hyperbole example. Like, that's not necessarily. It could be true. If the Department of Transportation wanted to regulate RC trucks like that, yeah, I'd be like, you guys are crazy. It's like, it really is just crazy, because it's like, you can use roads as an example. Like, I've got my scooter, like a razor scooter, like a push or a skateboard, but we'll say scooter. I can ride my scooter on my driveway and it's fine. No one can tell me no. I can ride my scooter on my neighborhood sidewalks and it's fine. No one's going to tell me no. I can ride my scooter in your parking lot if you say it's okay. I can ride my scooter on city sidewalks if the city permits it. I can't freaking ride my scooter on freeways. Okay, so you can see how it walks up. And right now, this proposal is like, you can fly your drone, none, zero.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I literally
bullshit. If you want to say I can fly my drone in my backyard up to 200 feet, great. I can fly my drone in that parking lot if I have permission, great. I can fly my drone in the city park if the city gives me permission, great. I can't fly my drone past 200 feet. All right, I can live with that. I can't go too high. That's fair.
Planet FPV says, what will happen with planes and other flying RC? What would be considered a flying toy? I thought everything's covered. Anything in the air, right?
Screwed. Honestly, in a way, I feel worse for model airplane people because like the drone stuff, it sucks, but like
you'll adapt.
Someone will come out with an FPV drone with remote if it becomes necessary, or even if it's not become necessary. Even if we get this 0 to 200 thing I want, there will be FPV drones that are remote ID compliant, so that if I'm doing a commercial gig, I have to use that drone, and that's fine. I'll live with that. So there will be drones that are compliant that we can fly. I just want to be able to fly our own thing. But all that to say, these people that build these beautiful balsa wood models, like they're just screwed.
$5,000
they
planes,
can fly them. The only place they can fly them are these FRIA sites, and that's going to be a diminishing number of places. Like, so we don't even have it worst. I know it feels worse because we care most about this, and other factions of RC stuff don't really like this 0 to 200 thing because they want to be able to fly higher, like the long time flying gliders, they want to go really high on thermals and all that stuff. And sorry, if there's anyone I'm throwing under the bus, it's them, because I'm going to defend first and foremost FPV. And as long as I can go up to 200 feet in a parking lot that I have permission to fly in, I can fly for the rest of my life, power looping trees and while riding office buildings.
Fishbones has a good comment too. He says, bring the tiny whips and toothpicks to protest to educate people, which I think is not a bad idea. Because again, the more you show people, the better the public perception of it is. When you take fear away, it helps.
So actually, SAR Dronic, it's Dan. He actually brought up something earlier, which I thought was kind of cool. And I don't know, maybe get your guys' opinion on this, but we all like to create content, whether it's just a flight video or whatnot. But he tried to start this a while ago, but why we FPV? Do you think that might be something that could be effective toward the FAA?
Wait, so say that again. Like, so make a video about why we FPV?
Yeah, I mean, and it's so not just one individual. Yeah, I mean, because there are so many different outlooks to FPV. Me, for instance, I was laid up, I was broken, and I decided to tinker around with a drone. Got me out of the house, got me doing my thing. Some people fly because of depression, and it helps them. It's their zen place. You know what I mean? And it's actually saved people. So, as he was kind of thinking, like, if we all kind of created, because all of us do it, all of us record almost every flight. I won't say every flight, but almost every flight, and created a video saying, "Hey, this is why we FPV. This is what you're going to take away from us," because it's devastating for somebody who might have been, let's just say, an alcoholic that decided, I'm going to start flying FPV drones, and this became his addiction. You know what I mean? Okay. A healthy way to cope, or whatever it was that he was drinking away.
I will commit to Rotor Riot making a video titled "Why We FPV." What I would like to put into it is a bunch of clips from the community. So I'd like, we'll produce a lot of the clips and produce some of the voiceovers. I mean, I think we all know what this is going to look like, right? We all know that we can all kind of paint the picture of this emotional video. It's like, I FPV because it's the perfect outlet. Right. Okay. So we can all kind of loosely see what this looks like, but I want those clips from everyone. I want the voices of the community. I want a diverse number of voices saying why they FPV in their own words. So now I want to, on the spot, figure out what's the best way to collect all those sound bites. What is a good way to do that? I could probably set up an email and say, send them to me.
I would suggest a Google Drive,
and they can all upload them. Wait, is that a thing? Can I make a drive that anyone can upload to?
Yeah, that's how
anybody can share their
ripping over
absolutely
contest.
Absolutely.
You have people.
Okay, but then I'd have to pay for one of the ones that's like a terabyte. And what's going to stop? Oh, wait, no. Does it count against their storage if they upload?
I don't
Well, it's
know.
going to be in their storage. Absolutely.
So it won't count against my storage.
They just send you the link. You can download it and boom, bam, done.
No, I don't want to. Yeah, I'd like to just have like this be as easy as. Let me figure this out. Is I wish I could have just figured it out on spot and say, okay, guys, here's what we're doing. But give me till tomorrow morning, and
so
we'll make a post somewhere.
He asked what he missed. Well, you're gonna have to rewatch. Did I fire Craig? No, Craig had to step away due to family stuff. And he said, why isn't Drew wearing his TV makeup? However, that's not what made me laugh. What made me laugh was Chad's reply, which was, I was going to say his eye makeup was ×2.
Yeah, I think I'm wearing, it's not that heavy, but it is on.
Plain FPV says a documentary about the benefit, the perception, and the possibility. Example, people with disease getting out of their body, which is now a prison, and you can even prove it by having a scanner while fly. I don't know if he worded that the way he wanted to, but I kind of understand what he's trying to say. I don't know if you guys get it. I mean, think
emotional plays are important, but I think there's a lot of stuff we can do pragmatically.
I think why we FPV is an amazing idea, and I will say that was Dan Parkinson that actually brought that idea to me.
Yeah, I'm all for this. I want to do this, and I want to get everyone's voice. Like I said, I mean, my goal was to make Rotor Riot diverse and inclusive, much to the dismay, as I learned, of some people. But we did it. So
we'll take a few more questions, guys, if anyone has any left in here. I'm just waiting to see. There is a lag, obviously, between us talking and them replying. Smoky Eye Drew makes me feel like a sinner. That's what Funk says to you. What's the whole makeup thing? Because I'm sure some people don't get it.
I just think it looks good. I didn't think it needed to be like a thing. I just started wearing it in high school because rock stars wore it.
I was told it was your girlfriend is a makeup artist and that she's the one that got you to do it.
That is hilarious.
That's honest to God what I was told.
Ashley, I've been wearing it since like high school, and Ashley and I have been dating for like 2.5 years. Yeah, it was never that big of a deal until it's so funny because like the FPV community is supposed to be like inclusive and diverse and all that stuff, but like so many more people make a big deal out of it. And like when I worked for General Motors for 4.5 years, it only ever got brought up twice in private by people that were like peers, it was never brought up by my boss or superiors or by chief engineers or by anyone that I worked with. Like I wore it to executive meetings with the chief engineer of Corvette and Cadillac. No one gave a shit, but GM, even though it might have a staunchy reputation, they were pretty inclusive. I worked alongside people with neck tattoos. So,
Primitive says we need to let the general public know that the FAA sold the airspace above their homes. And earlier in the chat, people were saying we need to do TV ads. But do you think commercials would be effective?
Yes, with the right call to action and with the right purpose. So if we can get this bill to a point where it needs a vote from the public, then I'd like to do TV ads. I don't think right now it'd be wise to spend on TV ads just to get a largely uninformed public to comment on an FAA document that they don't understand, wherein they're going to write comments that are going to get thrown out by the FAA. So when there's the right call to action for the public, I would love to do a TV ad. Yeah.
Enoch says you guys can join the UFDA crew next Tuesday to talk about fighting back and joining the meme war versus the FAA. If that's something you guys want to learn more about, you can absolutely do that. They're on every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Pop in sometimes. I'm not going to be able to join next Tuesday because people are coming in, because life has to go on, and I'm having people coming into town, and we're going to be filming some episodes for a week. So, yeah, I'm going to stay active on this stuff, but I'm probably going to slow down like a little bit for a week while I make sure we get our episodes filmed, because life's got to go on.
Gravy Leg has another good point. He says, why are we paying the FAA to regulate us and not represent us and then make us pay to use their new regulations?
Hear, hear. It's crazy. It is crazy.
Very good point.
I don't think there's nothing we're paying them right now, right? I don't think there's any. Yeah, there's nothing we're paying. Oh wait, no, that's right. I paid to register. I paid for my 107. Yeah, screw those guys. That's right. I did pay them, but yeah, the whole proposal would get us paying them even more, and it's not even what we want.
I'm just gonna post to guys the link again for the FPV-FC talking points that they recommend you looking over before you guys submit any comments. There we go. Chronic says, bring attention to the public and they will eventually never be able to do our hobby as well as planes. What? Bring attention to the public.
It could be a double-edged sword.
They will eventually never be able to do our hobby as well as planes if they so choose.
Oh, I think what we're saying.
People won't be able to get into the hobby.
Oh, really? Oh, I thought he was saying if we bring it to the attention, then the FAA can't marginalize us because
I think what he's saying is bring it to the public's attention so that if they ever developed an interest, it's like, hey, you can't even come do this with us. Like, you might think this is cool now, but you can't even join because it's getting banned. Like, it's being taken down. Royal Mackenzie says his brother-in-law has an interview as a test pilot for Amazon's new delivery service. He said it's going to roll out in major cities where the traffic is gridlocked at first. I mean, how many times are we going to have to hear about Amazon drones hitting airplanes, though? Like, this is going to be a thing. It's not going to not be an issue.
Well, yeah.
Let's see. I'm just seeing what if anyone else has any. Yeah, that's it. Gravy says he doesn't need a subscription to fly. That's what Patreon's for, to help other pilots.
Here's why commercial companies should care about FPV. And I'm going to be mostly quoting Jeff Thompson from Red Cat. And I don't know why more of these commercial companies don't share his opinion. There's going to be a shortage of pilots. So if commercial space blows up the way that the commercial companies are hoping, there's not going to be enough pilots to fill the jobs. So you kind of want a real strong hobby base that are enthusiastic about flying, that are good at flying and would like to have a job flying. Because I think everyone that currently flies would love to be doing it as a job. And if these rules kill the whole community and kill the number of recreational pilots, it's going to be pretty slim pickings for Amazon or whatever. So yeah, I'm surprised they don't care more. I mean, maybe they really think they're going to go straight to pure autonomous, so you don't need the pilots, but I don't know. I don't see it happening.
Lanuzo says, hey, DRL involved, which I'm taking as, is DRL doing anything about this? Like, are they on our side? Are they trying to do anything?
I haven't heard back from them yet, but I sent an email.
So you did reach out and they did not reply. So that says something.
No, I mean, it was like super recent.
Okay.
No. I want to insinuate anything about DRL. Yeah.
That's fair. I'm just seeing Squishy said he had an important comment. I asked him to repost it because it got buried.
But I hope I can get DRL on board.
Well, that's what Fishbones just said. What does this mean for DRL? Mm-hmm. If this was to go through, right? And I mean, I know you can't speak for them, but I would assume that they'd probably be one of the least impacted because it's indoor, is it not? So
not always. No, some of the races go outside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some of them are outside entirely. Some of them, dip outside of the stadium and come back in. Most of them are indoors. They'd survive, but it's going to kill the enthusiasm. Like, it's bad for everyone. You can always twist it into how it's bad. So if
I don't agree with you, Gravy Leg. Sorry, not you. Sorry.
Oh,
you have to say what he says that you don't agree with, because we can't.
If anyone in the hobby goes to Amazon to fly as a job, they're a scab. I don't agree with that. I think that.
Yeah, no, I think everyone wants to have a job as a pilot. Like, that'd be sweet. But
yeah, who doesn't want to be paid for FPV or a hobby or something you're interested in, right?
I would love. I try to. I've been paid for a few gigs, but actually getting paid to do what I love to do would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Squishy says, is this community going to work with the FAA or fight them?
I
think it goes hand in hand, doesn't it? You have to.
It's kind of a little bit of both. I'm at a point of I'm freaking pissed and I want to fight. But there's still a due process way of working with them, which is to make the comments. So we've got 60 days to work with them, and we'll see how that goes. In parallel, I'm chasing down this Mike Lee, his bill, and I consider that more of a fighting thing. So I'm doing both at the same time. And if the working with them stuff doesn't work out and they don't listen to the comments and they just shut us down, well, then we'll just keep fighting. But right now I'm doing both.
Hadley says we need actual commercials supporting our hobbies sponsored by local FPV businesses. I agree. Because I don't care if people are going to say I'm picking a side here. I don't see any other companies doing anything. I just don't. I don't see anything being posted. I don't see anything going on. I don't see them really addressing it, as in like the TBS, they get FPV, all that. I mean, I can't see the TBS group, so they could very well be doing
You got blacked?
I can't see it. I got blacked for this show, actually.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, that's a whole nother, doesn't even matter. I still like TBS, end of story. But these other companies all need to stand up, right? Everyone kind of needs to help each other. And I mean, have you reached out to TBS and Get FPV and like some of these other companies and said, look, join us, help us, let's fight this?
I have reached out to Flight Test. I have not reached out to TBS. I'm certain that Race Day Quads would join us in any fights. I have not reached out yet to Get FPV, but that would be a good idea.
I mean, just my personal opinion, I think that the more companies that have that funding that are supposed to be for the pilots, I mean, if they fight this for us, then we keep buying from them. So it's just a win-win circle. Mm-hmm. You guys are the ones that have a bigger voice, you guys being companies. So if all the companies actually work together, you'd have more money to put into fighting it versus each company trying to find the money to help. I'm going to sneeze, sorry. I'm really sick and I can feel the sneeze coming and I'm losing my train of thought.
Bless you.
No, it's not going to happen because I said I'm going to sneeze. Asylum says he doubts DRL would fight for the community as they would possibly gain from the fact that more people would need their fix from going to the races.
I doubt because more.
He's saying that more. He's saying DRL might be like pro FAA rule because then people are going to have to buy tickets to go see drones, which I don't agree with because people have to practice.
That's like saying that IndyCar would want to ban drivers' licenses so that people want to go to the car races. I don't think that's true. I think they would want to fight this so that they can keep an excited group of hobbyists that continue to push each other and get good at racing so that the racing on the show keeps getting better and better.
Double A is right. United, not divided. Lenozo says, what about Horizon Hobby? I guess as a reach out for them.
Yeah. Great idea to reach out to them.
Anybody that has drone stuff, really. I mean, even DJI, realistically, could you guys not approach DJI and say, look, we want you to help us with this? Or are you guys kind of done with DJI at this point?
No, we're not done. They kind of I will say that they sort of shut down for the holidays. And so we haven't talked to them very recently, but now that, we're into the new year, I'm hoping to kick things back up where they're not sponsoring this every episode of the show as they did for the last 3 months of the year, which is awesome. It really helped us. But we were talking about things that we want to do in 2020 and we haven't gotten anything finalized yet. So
is the partnership with them long-term? Like you're not worried about the aspects of them maybe helping the FAA with all this stuff?
I don't think I don't buy into that. They're a consumer drone company. Any compliance that they've done with the FAA is just to be able to keep selling their drones. I mean, they want to be safe. You know what I mean? They do want to be safe.
If anything, they're going to have to, if this passes, they're going to be having to conform essentially.
Yeah. It's going to increase the complexity of their products. Yeah,
exactly. Which is going to make their drones cost more. And
I don't think they care about that though. Honestly, like people are going to buy it if they're going to buy it. They already cost a lot and people will go spend thousands of dollars.
But it's just work they have to do. Like right now they don't have to put in this thing that can talk to the cell tower. And now they have to put a thing that talks to the cell tower. Like, I don't think they want to deal with, like, no one wants to do more work. No. So if you ask DJI, they'd probably say, we think we can be safe without having to talk to a cell phone tower.
Actually, you just brought up cell phone towers. That is one thing that really bothered me because I live in Montana. And as everybody knows, mountains are everything in Montana. And there are so many places where we don't have a damn cell tower anywhere near us. You can drive for 40 minutes in either direction and there won't be a cell signal. So what's that going to do to us?
I don't want to speak as an expert of the proposal, but it could mean you just can't fly there.
Which is
crazy.
awful.
That's like an entire area just blacked out.
Yeah.
Robert Oldie says a lot of us are too stubborn and see some FPV companies as the enemy. We take sides and forget that we are really all in this together. Companies need us and we need the companies. That's a really good way to concise that up.
Yep.
Asylum says, I think get informed and clear on what is proposed, clear and concise on the best flight plan, and be fair and balanced with compromise, and no point wasting time and energy not being smart and targeted. Which, yes, that's why we say go to FPVFC, where they actually have the summary of the proposal for you, so you don't have to read. How many pages was it again? I thought did I hear 600?
Oh my God, it was like 300 something.
Yeah, it was like an obscene amount of pages. So that's where you can find the condensed version. That's kind of like your Coles Notes version. I don't even know if you guys have Coles Notes there. But that's something. Lenozo says, yeah, they used to skateboard illegally. They'll just fly illegally.
It's different though. It's not this. People say that, and I'm like, guys, it's a federal thing now. Like, whether you skateboard in a place you're not supposed to be is skateboarding, like that's a concern with you and the property owner, or a concern with you if you're, skating on city property with the local police. It's not federal. Like, this shit is federal. Like, it's a different level. Like, I don't want to fuck with federal. Which is why I'm like, okay, let's really fight for this. Let's get 0 to 200 to be, private airspace. And then
that actually brings another question that was just asked is, does the FAA have the authority to block the sales of non-compliant electronics?
Sales? No. Well, who knows? Who knows how the government really works? As far as I know, you'll always be able to buy your stuff. They might just start marking it for indoor use only. I mean, you can fly a 5-inch inside a golf dome. I've got a number of car parts that are for off-road use only. So, but I don't think they'll be able to block the sale of it.
That was gonna be a big question there too. It's like, what's that gonna do to get FPV or the Rotor Riot store?
It's gonna hurt their sale. It's not gonna. They're not. Like, the FAA can't come tell us to shut the store down, but they could if a number of customers are found flying our products illegally. It's going to become our problem. I mean, the proposal pretty well outlines that, it's putting that liability and that responsibility on the companies. That's why I'm like, I don't see Rotor Riot becoming an authorized drone manufacturer.
Flying Brian says, Drib, you're going to have to play the We Are All in This Together song in your Why We FPV video.
I don't know that song.
It's from High School Musical. Don't ask why I know that, but I know that. I was a camp counselor. I'm going to go with that line.
That's a completely fair answer.
Drew, if you could do me a favor, when you do that, I will tell you, Dan Piper Parkinson, he's on Facebook. He's the one that actually came to me with that idea. Maybe talk to him a little bit and see what his outlook is on that.
Mm-hmm. Wait, which idea? We just talked about 3 things at once. And I got really distracted by High School Musical.
Once I said High School Musical, everyone's like, Zac Efron, and like brains washed.
Yeah. The Why We FPV video, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Because he actually has an amazing story, and I think you could definitely appreciate it.
I'm just asking Gravy to elaborate. Asylum says, but we shouldn't be scared or fearful of making our voices listened to, no matter who it is, just smarter. Yes. Say it. What's the harm? Like Drew said, what's the harm in sending those comments in? Takes a bit of time, yeah. Do it when you're on the toilet. Don't lie. I know all of you take your phone to the toilet now. So when you're sitting on the toilet, type your comments. And don't post them right away. Come back to it a couple times you go to the bathroom. And then you can add to it as you're going.
I want to confirm this. I don't want to necessarily. So I did ask one of the members of FPVFC about this. So let me confirm it. But what I believe is that, we can just make as many comments as we want, and that it would almost be wiser to make many smaller comments that are focused on one thing. So rather than writing one 10-page dissertation, you should make one comment that says, one problem I have with this is it marginalizes the recreational community, and that's going to diminish the pool of potential pilots for the commercial industry and really set the US behind its, other countries that are going to have a more enthusiastic pool. Okay, so that's just one comment. Okay, now make a whole separate comment saying that this is an invasion of privacy. It gives you guys too much control over the airspace right above my backyard lawn. I don't think that this is, something that jives with the Constitution. Okay, so that's one comment. And then make another comment that says, amateur built drones have a multi-year history of, very few incidents, 0 fatalities, very little injuries. And this completely eliminates that small industry and make that a whole another comment. And then if for any reason they want to throw out this comment because they don't care because you misspelled something or whatever, you haven't ruined your other comments. So that might be the best strategy, is to make like 10 small comments focused on one point.
Gravy Legs says an FAA rep told him that they can't even track FPV for drones, so everything's good anyway. And I asked him for now or forever, and he says ever. So I don't know what weight.
You don't want to be the guy they make an example out of.
That's true.
Especially us that post videos to lots of viewers. Yeah.
Michael Rollins is saying what Drew is saying is also what XJet advocated for.
The multiple comments approach.
Yeah.
Okay. Then maybe I'm
Adam, that's my cat, or one of my many cats. They're hungry, so they're going ham. They like to disturb and ruckus until we feed them. It's past dinner time, so. I'm just seeing if there's anything else in here. Oh, RDQ's here.
Hey,
Retailers
Tyler.
should give discounts to people who comment.
That's
know a guy.
Great
I'll
idea.
ask him. Yeah, I think that's
Gina.
a brilliant idea. I think that's something that you guys should definitely do. Because you can send
so
a
smart.
Screenshot.
That is a really good. Was that Tyler's idea himself?
Yeah, I don't know. So. I saw him say it.
I think if that was your own idea, Tyler, just slow clap for that. Thanks for costing us money, but it's a good idea.
No, I mean, if you want the community, unfortunately, sometimes you got to give a little bit to get a little bit, right?
I like that idea.
No, but it's a great plan. I think that's brilliant. Anyway, I think, guys, it's been about 2 hours almost. Unfortunately,
really?
Yeah, it's almost 10 o'clock here. Yeah, I know. Time flies, man. Are you willing to stop making videos on YouTube so we can keep this low pro? I don't know what that means. Like low profile, like the flying, like as him in general, or like
so that we can break the laws. I think is what he said.
I don't think anyone's gonna stop posting because it doesn't really show you.
I mean, that's
flying.
the hobby. Yeah, anytime I've heard a suggestion of like we should have done this or that or done this different, like if it's something that we shouldn't have done the hobby to preserve the hobby, like my hobby is flying in cool places and posting the videos. That's my hobby. So no, am I going to stop posting videos? That's like saying, stop doing the hobby to protect the hobby. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for coming. I think kind of like what we were all just saying, it was, one voice makes a ripple, a couple of voices makes waves, but we need to send a tsunami to the FAA here. So look at the link, talk to each other, reach out to the UFDA, who is going to be apparently doing some type of protest, as well as Drew is now organizing a protest, maybe with or without them, but whatever they're planning.
I'm going to find the best organized protest and tack onto it because they've already got a head start.
But no matter what you do, at least use the voice you have. Do something for the hobby and try and make it something positive so that they see us in a good light.
And call Senator Mike Lee.
Yeah, call Senator Mike Lee. The number, I think Chad can post it once more if he's still around here. Also, you can go back in the chats. I will post that as well as if you can share with me, Drew, the link for that bill. I'll put those all in the description for the video so you guys can go back and rewatch it. But whatever you think, let us know. Next week, we're supposed to have My on High. I don't know if we're going to change things just because of this FAA stuff. If you guys want to have Jeff Thompson on, from Red Cat, let us know if that's something you'd like to do in the meantime. But otherwise, just give us your feedback. And again, please, 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 please go use your voice. Thank you, Drew. I know it was a lot of time for you.
No, this was a lot of fun.
Appreciated.
I hope to come back on the show again soon.
You're gonna, except it's gonna be a personal interview, so it might be a little scarier for you. Oh yeah. All the makeup questions. No, I'm kidding. Have a good night, guys.